What's going on, everybody? I'm Vinny Costa, editor of Street Muscle Magazine, and your host of the RodCAST, the all-encompassing car show where we talk about all things automotive. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Greg Acosta, editor of Engine Labs and all-around tech guru. What's up, Greg?
Hey, Vinny. What's happening?
You sound like Bill Lumberg from Office Space.
Yeah, I would grab my coffee cup, but I've had way too much coffee today. So you might see that today.
I know the feeling, man. Dude, you know what? I love that movie, and I loved it for like a really long time. And I had no idea that it was done by Mike Judge, the creator of
really?
Yeah, of King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of its charm is like it's got that like cartoon, comedy and humor.
It comes through for sure.
Life. Yeah. I love that show.
That movie only had like 2 cool cars in it. Now that I'm thinking about it, let me see if you can guess which ones they are.
Ooh, Lumberg's. I don't know if it's a 963. His Porsche. I'll just say it's Porsche.
Yep.
And who else had a cool car?
Well, nobody had a cool car in the movie except for Bill. And if you recall, on his license plate it says like Bill's Porsche or something like that. Like the most like
douche.
Arrogant, like douchey like license plate. But anyways, when he parks in that parking lot in that opening scene, he parks in like the head honcho spot, and then right next to it is an FD RX-7.
Is there really? I've never noticed that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go watch it. Just all there is to it.
You can tell how many times I've seen it, dude. That's one of those movies, though. Like, I don't care what mood I'm in. I don't care what time of day it is. If it's on TV or something, or if it's in the background, I'll sit down and watch it just because it's so funny.
It's one of the few movies I own.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, wait, like in DVD form? Oh my God, Grandpa, what's going on over there?
Well, I think I bought it out of the $5 bin. I was like, what is this doing in the $5 bin? Can I give you more money than $5 for this?
No, I'm totally kidding. I have a huge collection of DVDs, but like I never use them anymore. Everything's, streaming. But I'm guessing that's how everyone's watching us right now. So that's working in our favor.
Yes. Except we're going to be releasing the DVD set. No, I'm kidding. We're not releasing a DVD set.
Yeah, get it at Redbox.
We're working that deal. Don't drop the Redbox yet. We haven't.
Yeah, Rogan. He made it good for all of us podcasters. We're all getting $50 million deals now. Anyways, today is going to be an interesting episode. It's a little bit more relaxed than some of our other episodes where we have guests on and we're talking about a very pointed subject. This episode, we do have some topics that we want to cover, although it's a little bit more of a freewheeling, free thinking, free speech.
Freestyle.
Yeah, just a freestyle. A lot of freedom coming at you.
I might be doing the backstroke. I might be doing the breaststroke. Who knows? I swim, but.
Oh man. So I guess we can get right into it, Greg. The first topic that we wanted to talk about was interesting because you brought it up earlier, and it was if I had to give it some type of tagline, it's modern transmissions. Why are there so many gears?
Right? I mean, what really sparked it, right, is I got a news release about Hyundai releasing an 8-speed dual clutch transmission for the Velociter.
I hate those cars, by the way.
I think they look pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a hot hatch fan. I like, I'm not saying I'd buy one, but I like the way they look. But yeah, I mean, 8 speeds. Okay, so let's see. We've got 7 speeds. We've got 8 speeds. We've got 9 speeds, and we've got 10 speeds. Like, where's the limit? Like, are we going to have, 18-speed vehicles? Like,
I would be on board if they were manual. Like a manual 10-speed, Fast and Furious style, just rowing gears.
The dual clutch stuff. I mean, the DCTs, they're getting there, man. I mean, like, I know a lot of people complain about the GT500, not coming in a stick. I mean, oh well.
Well, it's just, all the like manual fanboys will say like, oh well, you're more connected to the car, and I tend to agree. I like driving a manual car, that's why I own one. But at the same time, you know, if you're doing any kind of racing, before it was, maybe arguably just drag racing. But now if you're doing any kind of racing, automatic transmission is going to shift faster than a human being can.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, road courses have always been the playground of manuals, right? Like always. Well, the dual clutch stuff that takes away all of the automatic transmissions, negatives on a road course.
Exactly.
So, I mean, look, I just bought my new car in manual not because manuals are better. I was so bored in my other car.
Yeah,
So
I feel
bored. That. I was like, I need something to do, right? But if they had a dual clutch option that wasn't a GT500, I probably would go that way, because there's just something about, being able to paddle shift up and down without using a torque converter,
That's what I was going to ask you. So before you bought that car, it sounds like you had in your head that you were definitely going to get a manual. But before you bought it, did you test drive one that did you test drive an automatic that had paddle shifters? No.
I didn't want to like it.
I respect that.
I didn't want to be wavered. I didn't want to be tempted to waver.
Yeah. I haven't driven anything automatic, like any modern muscle with an automatic transmission. Although that might happen soon.
Yeah.
Which would be pretty. Oh yeah, because if I choose the bigger one, then it'll be automatic. Viewers, I'm alluding to another talking point that we haven't got to yet, and I don't want to reveal my hand, but so we'll get there. yeah, we'll get there.
But and part of the thing too, the 10-speed, it seems to still be having some minor teething problems. Whether that's just forums being extremely picky, or a real problem, I'm not sure.
Well, what about like a modern manual trans versus a modern automatic trans, as far as like how much power they can hold? Because like in days past, I mean, how many memes are there about the 4L60 just being a boat anchor?
Let's be fair. I don't think we need to be giving that to the automatic trans guys. There are plenty of automatic trans. I mean, look at any of the non-electro. I mean, even the 4R70W from Ford is an amazing trans.
Yeah.
I think that was just one bad trans, and everybody puts out stinkers now and then.
But what about like high horsepower cars? Like when we were filming Pony Wars this last year, when we were out in Vegas at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, James was making passes in that, what was it, a 2020 or was it a 2019?
I think it was a 19. I think they were all 19s.
And I mean, the car had more. They could have thrown more power at it, but the transmission just it couldn't hold it. The clutches in the transmission were just, he was getting out the back end, and it was slipping. So
that comes down to,
have had that same problem with a manual?
No, I mean not when you're talking stock. But I mean, how many of us have burned up stock clutches?
Yeah.
I mean,
and this is not like your average car. It had like a big Pro Charger on it. It was making over almost 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, it was nine and change.
Yeah, it was low nines, but I mean, dude, that's quite a bit of power to be throwing at a stock transmission. So I'm not like bashing Ford's, automatic or whatever. I'm just saying, I'm just posing the question.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it depends on how you want to break it down. Because if you just want to say automatics, I mean, just look at all the, power glides.
Yeah, I mean, you want to make big power and go racing, you throw a Turbo 4 in it.
I mean, well, shoot, a glide in. Well, I don't know. They're going back to 3-speeds in like the outlaw classes and stuff, right? But I mean, they're still making 3,000 horsepower, and I mean, a 3,000 horsepower cable power glide is what, $7,000
versus, yeah.
I mean, that's really not that bad. Versus you get into a 3-speed and you start looking at 5 digits.
Yeah, and then the amount of people that offer them for sale, like without you having to build them, is much smaller.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
I mean, but I mean, honestly, in this day and age, technology wise, I think it comes down to preference more than capability.
so
But how many
viewers,
speeds?
yeah, viewers, listeners, how many speeds is too many? How many gears in an automatic transmission is too many? Do you like the modern automatics over a manual? Have we reached that point in for the enthusiast that it's okay to have an automatic? Is it as um, are you going to gain as much notoriety having an automatic as a manual? Because I remember, dude, when I was young, if you had an automatic, that was like you didn't even want to tell people, like, "Oh, that's a cool Mustang. That's cool, man. What have you done to it? Oh, cool. Is it automatic or manual?" And people, it's automatic. There was always kind of like that stigma, right? But
Well, I
that's
mean,
high school kids
honestly,
too.
I
So
mean, even though they're a torque converter car, those 10-speed automatics, hearing them going down the track, they just drop. What are people getting, like 7 shifts or something, or they're in 7th gear across
yeah,
the
it's
line.
insane.
So
It's insane.
it's like it sounds like those old like rally cars.
Yeah. Well,
I
yeah, because
mean,
like how fast can you just do that?
yeah. I mean, if those were dual clutch cars, I'd probably be a little more into them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but
Speaking
I
of rally
think
cars, what transmission was in that Focus that you had?
just the MTX 75.
What kind of?
I'm not gonna lie, I broke one.
That's a 5-speed.
Yeah, yeah, I broke one. I remember when I did it too. I was coming down the front straight. Coming out into the front straight at Streets of Willow Springs, and I had been held up by this Acura RSX, and I was pissed. I had lost my cool. He wouldn't let me by,
You're
and
mad he
now
had a
I'm
6
going
gear
to
and you
try to
didn't.
drag race a car with 60 horsepower on me down the front straight. And I remember he finally pointed me by, and I shoved it from second to third, and I was a little too fast on that clutch, and I heard it grind, and I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah, dude, those RSX are a buddy of mine. He bought one when he was a Marine and he was stationed in Hawaii. And I remember like giving him crap about it, like, oh, it's just a little import or whatever. And he brought it back with him after he got out, and he let me drive it. And they're fun little cars, dude. They're 6 speed. His was a Type S, so
Yeah.
they had like what, almost 200 horsepower.
Yeah,
And
I think they were right there, like 197 or something. Like they were right there.
yeah, dude, 200 horsepower and a little light car like that, front wheel drive with a 6-speed manual. It was a fun car. It was cool.
And they looked pretty good. I mean, they
Yeah.
were pretty sleek. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I like them.
I prefer like the DC Integra over the, what is that one? That was like the
DC2, the GSR,
yeah, I like those ones. The like the Type R, the original Type R.
yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah, I remember when I was looking at when I actually bought the Focus, I came from an Acura dealership that had a 98 GSR, and this was like right when Fast and the Furious came out, and all of a sudden, I mean, they wanted like $20,000 for this thing.
I know it.
And I was like, it's an Integra. And he's like, I'll sell it tomorrow. Like, and I was like, okay, bye.
Where was it? LA? Somewhere.
No, it was right in Temecula. It was Acura of Temecula.
Really?
Yeah.
Out here, yeah, I could see that. I remember I was maybe right out of high school. Yeah, I had been out of high school for maybe like 6 months, and I had some older buddies, maybe like a year older, so they had graduated a year before. And I had a buddy who was all into the JDM scene, right? He had an Accord, like a '94 Accord, and it was kind of rare because it was an EX. It was a 2-door, and he had swapped an H22 into it, and so it was a pretty stout little Honda. But he wanted to get something rear wheel drive, and so he told me about this place down in LA somewhere. I want to say it was in Van Nuys, and he said, yeah, they're like a JDM importer. And so we went down there, and it was like the scummiest kind of like warehouse. Like I just was like, dude, are you guys gonna do like a drug deal here later? Because that's how I feel right now. But that said, they had just wall to wall this giant warehouse with imported JDM cars, and they weren't like well kept. I mean, they were dusty. Like you could see, like they were wearing whatever came in that C train with them over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they were dusty and crusty, but I mean, they had like R32 Skylines, they had S15 Silvias, they had like some badass cars, but they wanted insane money for like these janky cars, like for an S13, a right-hand drive, same car that you can get over here, same KA, although I think they might have been turbo.
I think they were CAs when they
were turbo.
No, when they came over here. Because I think the KA was because the 2.4 liter, the KA24.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was a US only motor.
Oh, really?
It was like an emissions deal.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they had the CA and the SR.
I know that these S13s didn't have the SR because the SR came in the like 94 and up.
Yeah, so it was probably the CA.
Yeah. So so that engine, right? Not anything special. Open diff. Like these were basic cars, right? Like basic economy cars in Japan. And these guys wanted like 20 grand for them. And I'm like, dude, I can go buy the same car, just like the left-hand drive version for like 3 grand right now.
But you can't drive through a drive-through backwards. Like, I mean, I get it. I do.
But the JDM scene was just huge at that time, dude.
It still is kind of.
You think?
I mean, looking at
not like back then, dude. We're talking what, like 2008, 2007. I mean, that was like I feel like the height of it. Maybe 10, 11.
Well, now
12.
that we're hitting that 25-year mark on a lot of those cars, you're going to start seeing a lot more of them flooding the streets, but they're going to be piles of crap. I mean, because literally somebody over in Japan can sell their 25-year-old car to some importer for 5 times what he would sell it for normally because stupid Americans are going to buy it. And, some kid who he's a trust fund kid and he's watched Fast and the Furious, 27 times each. He's going to pay 20 grand for, yeah.
Listen, I'm me. I'm a muscle guy, right? I like American muscle cars, late model, classic, and everything in between. As long as it wears a badge from typically the big 3, I'm in. That said, I do have an appreciation for all kinds of cars. Euro, JDM, what have you, except for Velocitors. I hate those. But what I'm getting at is, if I was going to get one, it would be of that variety, right? Like a larger displacement engine as far as imports are concerned. It would have to be rear wheel drive. The closest thing essentially that you could get to Japanese muscle, I guess you could say, right?
So something with a 2JZ.
Yeah. Or an SR or an RB.
Or a 1UZ, which their 8 cylinders they're pretty cool. Pretty underrated, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. I guess Japanese muscle would be a V8. It would still be a V8. It would probably be like a 4.0 though, like whatever come in
the 1UZ. God, I don't want to say it and be wrong, but it's a 4 something. It's not huge.
Yeah. So yeah, would an SR20 be, or would that still be like kind of like a Ricer engine? Oh, like.
I mean, I don't know. I think the SR20 is cool.
I love that engine.
I've seen those things just beat to within an inch of their life, and they come back asking for more.
Yeah.
They'll complete laps with broken rocker arms. Like, I mean, the rocker arms break, every other, session, but it still runs. Yeah. And it's a 20-minute fix. Once it cools down. But I mean, they're cool, but they also have almost a stigma because they're so fanboy engines.
Well, there was a time when you could get them for a decent price and you could swap them in, and then they were just all gone.
Well, that's just like anything. I mean, that's like the LS thing you and I have been talking about. LSs are going through the roof. They're junkyard engines. Why are people asking $1,100 for them?
Crazy, dude. 5.3. You used to be able to get one for like $300. You used to be able to get pulled out of a running, driving truck or SUV or whatever. You can get a 5.3 with the transmission, the ECU, everything ready to swap for like less than $1,000. Mm-hmm. And now what? Come on, it's crazy, man.
I found one today. Brian sent it over.
Nice.
It's I'm not really sure if it's what they think it is, but it's a 4.8 and they want $500. No intake manifold, no no exhaust manifolds. It's sitting literally on a milk crate. The guy took it in trade.
Dude, that's perfect for you. It saves you on teardown time.
But the sad thing is I'm thinking about it at $500, even though my brain is like, don't do it.
Dude, I mean, the art of the haggle, hit him at 300 and then meet in the middle.
I know. It's just, I can't. I mean, somewhere in the back of my head, I expect to be able to get like a complete long block. I'm willing to sacrifice the ECU and wiring harness. I don't care. But for like $400, right? So I don't know. It's just, it's going to have to, I mean, because on eBay, man, oh my God. Like the deals are gone.
Greg, that brings up a great point, dude. That I really want to talk to you about. I think it's a great talking point, and our readers and listeners and viewers will relate. And that's like buying, selling, trading etiquette, right? Because I do that a lot, and before, in my previous life, before I was an editor, I've been doing this since I was like a kid, when Craigslist was like the only thing, even before then, when it was just like,
back of Auto Trader.
No, well, Auto Trader you had to pay for Auto Trader. There used to be, the camera ads is what they're called. Those are like basically like the free Auto Trader. You can get them at the gas station or whatever. It was like a little pamphlet you could flip through. So I've been doing this for a long time, and like the old school guys I've found have like a very like a good system, right? Like if they put a price on something, they stick to that price. Anyways, what has been your experience? Because I sell a lot of stuff and I buy a lot of stuff on like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp, what have you. What are the do's and don'ts for you? For
me, I'm not going to lie, I suck. Like anybody who's going to do a deal with me, have mercy. Like be nice, please. I remember.
So? How so? You mean like you're like you're
I get my haggling? Or? No, I get my heart set on something and I'm just like, shut up, take my money.
Okay.
Like basically, if somebody's overpriced, I ignore it. I'm done. Like I don't even try to haggle. I'm just like, no, you're crazy. You want too much. Buy. I remember buying my Mustang. I had to ask him like 5 times to give me a price. I was just like, how much do you want for this car? I want my car.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't like to haggle. Let's put it that way.
Well, some people do. Some people. I was gonna say I don't think anybody likes to, but yeah, some people really like it.
Yeah, some people are offended if you don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, for me, I basically, if your asking price is fair, then I'm happy to give you your asking price.
That's the thing, right? Like when I'm selling something, I always know that someone's going to try and like get me down, right? Typically, like people, they're going to try and haggle with you, and that's just kind of part of it. So I don't mind when people hit me at a lower price, right? As long as it's not like an insult price. Like if you're selling something, you're like, well, for like $500, and they say, well, I got $100. It's like, we're pretty far apart, buddy.
Yeah, for sure. Like when I sell something, I generally, if I want it gone fast, I'll post firm prices. This is what I'll take. This is it.
Yeah, post it under, under what you think it's actually worth.
And let's go.
Just come get it. Yeah.
But then I've never, as a seller, I have never had a smooth sale. Like I always walk away feeling like I've been beat up.
Well, maybe that's your problem right there. Maybe
I am.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. That's why I don't like doing it. Like that's why I have a storage unit full of parts.
Well, it's certainly like kind of a pain, but I don't have that luxury of like having a bunch of storage space. So like I have to make room for things that come in, right? Especially stuff that like is not serving a purpose.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
But the reason I bring this up is not only because we were talking about cars and, how they're just, certain types of cars, JDM in particular, are raising in price. But so I've been in the market for a new mountain bike recently, right? And ever since like this whole COVID thing happened, people want insane money from any kind of like athletic equipment.
Yep.
gym
Yeah.
stuff, mountain bikes, you name it. They just want crazy money. Um, and I stupidly sold my mountain bike before I got a new one, thinking like, oh, I'll sell this one and I'll buy a new one. Because I wasn't happy with that one. I just wanted something new. Uh, and now I found a bike yesterday, and I hit this guy up, and he had it for like $500, right? And I said, hey, I'd like to take a look at your bike. And then right after he he messages me, he's like, okay, $700. And I was like, the ad says $500. What the
That's
hell's
not how
going
this
on here?
works.
Yeah, I think maybe you're new to this. So I said, well, your ad says 500. And so then he changes the price on the ad to be 700. And I'm like, wow, man, come on, what's going on here? It could have been a mistake, a clerical error, as it were, but still, like, you run into stuff like that sometimes, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, just when it comes to buying and selling, and that's the thing. I with my friends, there's times where I'm like, just take the stupid thing, come get it. Like, seriously, just come get it. I don't even want to deal with, like, I would rather give it to somebody I know is going to use it and somebody who I know will appreciate it than sell it and have to deal with it.
For
And
sure.
I actually did that because we're going to talk about projects, and I'm my project that I'm working on, getting rid of some of the stuff. But
well, yeah, we could jump into it. What are you working on, dude?
well, it's not a car. I'm remodeling my shop.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Remodeling. I'm basically, I mean, the cool thing is, okay, I've got a lot of space to work with. I can do whatever I want. Because this is Arizona, and because it's hot is, all get out. and where I am, we get snow, so it gets below freezing in the winter. I need to insulate. Well, my shop is not insulated right now. So what I'm doing is basically building a room that I can insulate, nice and small. Won't cost, $1 million to heat, $1 million to cool. It's nice and small, but it's big enough to build engines in, and the cool thing is, as I'm going through this, I wild hair just thought, hey, what if I just insulated a small part? And I was like, okay. So I started doing measurements and looking up stuff, right? And I'm like, I could build this, because it's a blank canvas right now, to work for video and photo stuff, right? So I'm
Get
like,
your little
okay,
spinning Vinny in there, and you're good to go.
yeah. So I started talking to a couple of our video guys about what kind of lighting, and that was not something I was prepared for.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Matt Robinson, our video guy, because he's apparently our lighting expert. And he was like, yeah, start sending me links, and we're talking. He's like, these ones aren't too bad. They're like $50 a light bulb. And I'm like,
wow.
Okay. And, he starts talking about CRIs. And I mean, like, I know color temperature, I know lumens, but now you're getting into CRI. And so, I'm like, okay, good God, how much is it going to cost? So I start doing some research, and, I'm a data driven dude. I like data. I found a formula for lighting in a shop. There are actually formulas out there, and I actually have it written down. First, they tell you for different stuff how many lumen feet you need, so how many lumens per square foot, right?
Okay.
And so for the shop, for like a workshop, they say 70 to 100 per square foot. That sounds reasonable. Then they want you to measure your work surface to your light source, to your ceiling. So you measure that.
Okay.
Then you take that measurement and you multiply it by 1.5, and that's the maximum width the light sources can be apart from each other.
Wow.
And then you take that number and multiply it by a third or half, and that's how far they can be from the wall.
Dude.
So anyway, after I looked at my little lighting setup, I realized I have 3 times the recommended amount of light in there. So that's going to be cool, right? So I might.
More light is good, right?
Yeah. But I'm also doing something that Matt told me not to do, which is buying Amazon lights.
Why is that?
Because they have a really low CRI. Well, why am I buying them, or why not to buy them?
No, why not? Why not to buy them?
They have a low CRI. And
what does CRI stand for?
Color rendition index, I believe. Color rendering index.
Okay.
Basically how accurate they are to their rated, and they're all 5,000K. So I guess a CRI, because they're, I want to say 85, which means there's a 15% allowable wiggle in each light, like each LED in there. So like one on one end could be 6,500 and one on this end could be 3,500.
Dude, that's what I like about people so much, right? Like, especially people in the car world, because that's where we work. But I really like people in general because you can really dive deep into a lot of different things, right? Whether it's building a car, geeking out on like the tech of it, just something, or like just engine building, or any other facet of auto building. To if you really like watches and you understand the mechanical workings of them, or biking, or lighting, or photography. Like there's so much to know about one specific thing, and I feel like we come across a lot of those people because of the industry that we work.
Yeah, I 100% believe that if you're an enthusiast about one thing, you're an enthusiast about several things.
For sure. It's kind of like collecting.
Yeah. And I mean, it could be varied. I mean, I've got one friend on Facebook who was a racer with NMRA, and it was hilarious because he posted a picture of his collection the other day, and I just shook my head and laughed. His collection is of cast iron skillets.
Oh, no way.
And he is fanatical about them. I mean, he knows he can look at it and he can be like, oh, this is a 3-ridge something, and it's, that means it's from like 1964 to 1965 and blah, blah. And it's like, it's a skillet.
That's really cool.
Not to him, man. I mean, and I appreciate that. I don't get it, but I appreciate it,
Yeah.
But I think we're all nerds about different things. I
will say this, dude. I really like cooking. That's like something that most people don't know about me. I love cooking. And I have a cast iron skillet, and it was a gift, but I use it to make burgers. Like it's like that's all I use it for. To make sirloin burgers, and it's so good, and they just get better with age, dude. Mm-hmm. And like you season them, and like just the way that you prepare the cast iron it's a lot of fun. I can see why somebody would get into it.
Well, and the worst thing is, I remember my mom with her cast iron skillet, and I remember her pouring soap into it. Now I'm like looking at it like I know enough that that's not right. You don't do that. But yeah, I can remember her just in there like scrubbing it with steel wool with Dawn all in there. And just, oh yeah,
man, you got to keep those seasonings on there. But anyways, we got off on a bit of a tangent. We're talking about your shop, dude. So tell me about the plans. I want to know more about it. Like, okay, so you got the lighting figured out.
Yeah.
But what do you have to do to like an engine building room specifically to keep it sterile? Like what provisions do you have to keep in place?
I mean, what I'm doing, I'm putting a humidity and a temp gauge in there just so I can make sure it's close. I am a little concerned with how regulated I can keep it, because I'm still not sure, because it's not insulated. It will be insulated, but I don't know how well that's going to work. I always doubt my own abilities. So I'm like, well, I'm putting the insulation in, which means it's not going to work, right?
What do you use for the insulation? Like R134 or something like that?
No,
or R12 or something?
Yeah, this it's R13 for the walls, and I have to go with the R19 for the ceiling.
That's what I was thinking of. I'm thinking AC, air conditioning.
Yeah, R134A, yeah. But yeah, it's just, I mean, it's all standard stuff. It's just, standard wall, but it's an outdoor shop that gets direct sun.
So what kind of walls do you have on the outside of the shop?
They're plywood with whatever the builder put as not paneling, and it's not siding, but it's like there's plywood, and then there's this whatever that stuff is.
Okay, and then that's the wall. That's it. There's nothing on the other side of that.
Correct.
Oh, then yeah, you definitely got to have some insulation in there. I get it, because you're at a higher elevation. What elevation are you at? We're
at 4,700 feet.
Yeah, so
but I mean, we get up. We're like this week we're 100 across the board, and generally in the summer, it's about 10 to 15 degrees higher than outside temperature at all times. So like. I sent you that picture the other day at 5 o'clock. It was 105 degrees in the shop.
Oh, is that what you were trying to point out? I was just like, oh, that's cool. It's an atomic clock.
Yeah, no. It was 105 in the shop while I was trying to, run wire. Very stuffy 105.
Yeah, I bet. It's a dry heat, as they say.
But yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna basically expanding foam all the seams to the room to try to just keep it as sealed as possible. I don't think I'll be able to keep it, like clean room clean. So there's going to be a lot of sweeping and cleaning and mopping and what are those
So
Swiffer?
if someone at home was like wanting to do their own kind of, and I know you'll probably follow up and do some type of article on this, but like if someone at home wanted to look into building their own engine building room or expand a part of their shop, what resources did you use and what considerations did you make before you even tackled this project?
I mean, I kind of like thought back to all the other shops I've been in, which probably made a little bit too much of an impression because I've worked, with some shops that have like legit clean rooms, like aerospace type clean rooms
Oh
where
wow, okay.
it's like it's not quite wear a bodysuit and stuff, but it's clean. Like I would, if I drop something on the floor food wise, I would pick it up and eat it. Like there's no 5-second rule there. It's clean. But I did that, and then I started searching things like the lighting thing. I found by just searching, how much shop light is enough. Like, is there a formula? And sure enough, I found the formula.
Do you have any like special like storage tips for people? Like I remember in my grandpa's old shed, he always had those mason jars that were like screwed with a bunch of screws and stuff.
I'm very tempted to put those because I bought cabinets to put up. I bought a toolbox to go underneath the bench. I'm probably going to bring my old toolboxes in. One thing I'm realizing is maximizing space because it's such a small area so that I don't have to heat it. 80, what did I just say? 86, I think.
Okay.
But so it's being smart about how you use storage. That's the biggest thing. I've got plenty of room to work. I'm not going to be like banging my elbows or anything. But I think the biggest thing is storage. And I mean, nowadays, storage is cheap, man. Like my first toolbox, like when you think toolbox, my first one was a Craftsman and it's still in storage. It's not ball bearing. It's not, I mean, I think I paid $180 for it. I mean, looking at granted, you can't get anything for $180. Well, yeah, I guess you could at like Husky at Home
Harbor
Depot.
Freight you can get. I mean, but it's like a single roller drawer with like compartment boxes underneath. It's a big Yukon. I think it's made by a company called Yukon.
Yeah. But I mean, even that stuff is leaps and bounds above where economy stuff was
100%.
15 years ago, 20 years ago. So that's what I'm I go into Home Depot and I look at, the Husky, and people are going to be like, oh, Husky's crap. Man, for the prices they're charging, Husky is hard to beat.
I'm just waiting for Walmart to come out with that Heart line and them expand into like big toolboxes. I mean, I wouldn't buy it because I already have a toolbox, but I'm just saying like their stuff is like
you see the screen?
Is that what you went to?
There's a Heart. It got me with the blue drawer pulls, man.
Like, wait, so it's an actual toolbox?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they started selling them.
Yeah,
no way.
I went and I got one because I went and I messed with it and I'm like, this isn't what you think of when you think of Walmart.
No, man, they really stepped their game up. It's like on par with the best stuff at Harbor Freight.
Yeah, and I mean it's definitely because I've got Husky toolboxes all over the other side of the shop. Like, I mean, those things for the money you just can't beat them, especially when they're on sale. I mean, I think I got my 36-inch, full taller than me deal for like $325 on sale one time. I mean, you can't beat that. But the Heart's blue drawer pulls, I was like, that is so cool. And
it's a cool design. They got like white and blue and black. It's a unique look. Mm-hmm. And you can get like I think it's like a 3-piece combo pack where you get like an impact driver, a drill, and like a shop light or like a portable light or something, and like a single battery for like something stupid cheap, like less than $200. And so they're trying to be competitive, man, and they will be, Walmart. But I don't have any direct experience with them. Have you used any of their tools?
No. I mean, the toolbox is my first foray, but I mean, seriously, for
how many drawers?
It's 6 drawers. but
Okay.
it's 24 deep. Like all
Oh,
the
wow.
Husky
Okay.
stuff I was looking at is only 18 deep, and it's
Yeah.
36 by 24.
What's the top? Is it just like, does it have a handle on the top, or how does it work?
The top is just those little bitty edges. So like you could put like a little piece of wood in, or the top box, because they have a top box for it. I'm not using that because I'm tucking this under my workbench.
Nice.
Again, space saving stuff. I figured the workbench space was more valuable than having the top box. But
what about like your engine stand and stuff? There's enough room in there for that?
yeah, because what I'm gonna be doing is probably storing, because my plan is to never have more than 2 engines in the shop at one time. Like one project engine that I'd be working on, and then maybe one just if I need to run out and snap a picture for something. Because one thing that I didn't realize I was so lucky with until all this COVID stuff hit was being able to run out to a shop and get a picture. Being able to call up a shop and be like, hey, dude, I need a picture of this. Can you just snap this for me real quick? With all this goofiness going off, all of a sudden it's like, where are my resources? And I'm like, I need to be able to do this myself. Like, there's no reason I should be having to call up somebody, because I can't go to their shop. So that's part of what drove this.
Editor of Engine Labs, dude. You got to have an engine room.
Exactly. But I think I'm going to be storing whatever's not being worked on those cradles because I love those cradles. I don't know if that's a normal thing that people are so attached to one piece of shop equipment, but those small engine cradles.
No way, dude. Come on. I have a favorite screwdriver. I have
I just assumed I was weird. I mean, I've got a whole 36-inch drawer full of screwdrivers, and there's only one I grab every time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I got a favorite set of pliers that it's got the perfect grip on it. I can get the best purchase on the handle. Come on, man.
Favorite sockets, right? You've got like 9 sets of sockets and you always go to the same one. And favorite ratchet. And I thought I was just weird.
No, I was working on the Firebird the other night installing the new muscle pack from Mosier. So I pulled out the old 9-inch and swapped in the new 9-inch. I'm actually just waiting on. Actually, it came in the mail today. I got a new U-joint from Spicer, so that'll be going in tonight, and I can finish. But anyways, when I was working on it, I was like, I have this my favorite impact driver, and I could have done it, with hand tools, but I was like, no, I'm gonna wait for the battery to charge because I want to use it.
Dude, it's a fact of life. We have our favorites.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the Firebird. What else? I know you have so many irons in the fire. Like,
dude, tell me about it.
What else? Let's get a list off.
Myself, sort of.
So okay, let's start with where's the Camaro?
The Camaro is
the daily Camaro.
The Camaro's in the driveway. But so we got a whole bunch of stuff from Flowmaster that's going to go on soon. So new intake, cold air intake. New exhaust system, part of their Outlaw series, some new headers. We're also going to do some plugs, wires, and coils at the same time since it's a high mileage car, and you have to pull all that stuff out anyways whenever you're swapping the headers. So that's going to be a fun series. The goal is with that car to make 500 horsepower and then daily it to 500,000 miles. So
I like that. I love that. Like when you said that last week, I was like, that is probably the coolest premise I have heard in a very long time.
Yeah, I like it, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. I started thinking how a lot of guys must have felt when they bought new cars back in the day. I hear all these stories of when I do features and stuff of these old timers who like, oh yeah, I bought the Chevelle brand new off the lot. It was built in Van Nuys and this and that. I'm like, that's cool, man. And they still have it. And I started thinking like, I didn't buy this car brand new, but I'd like to have a cool story like that one day. And in order to do that, you got to put miles on a car. And so, thus the daily Camaro.
I think that's cool.
I appreciate it.
So we're a daily Camaro. So what? So now we got let's do the van next. Let's mix it up. Well, don't laugh. Let's talk about the van.
I forget about the van, dude. I do. My girlfriend drives it quite a bit. But yeah, my van, the 93 G20. I love that thing, dude. It's so much fun. So if you guys haven't followed, check out streetmusclemag.com. It's Project Heavy Metal. And basically, it took this like crusty old creeper van from 1993, swapped the whole front end, gave it a whole new lease on life, man, gave it a new attitude. We've done 3 articles on it so far, basically changing the style. The first one was how we acquired the van and some small things that we did to it. I think I put like a visor on it and put some hubcaps on it. Just try to, make it kind of cool. Then the second one, we did a story on how I converted the front end from a 1993 front end with like 4 headlights, which was GM styling at the time, to something more classic. And I got the front end from a 1971 Chevy van and I grafted it on. And so it looks a lot more old school, looks a lot cooler.
I definitely like it better.
I appreciate it, man. I do too. I think it's cool. The single sealed beam halogens. I mean, you can't beat it. It's classic style.
That brings up a question, though. Not to go too far sideways. How long are sealed beams going to continue to be made?
That's a good question, dude. Right now, you can still buy them at AutoZone for like $15, and they're still there. They're still over there in the section, man. So hopefully for a long time, because a lot of people need them.
Yeah, I'm just not to derail, but it's one of those questions. Anytime I see one, I'm like,
although there are a lot of variants that you can purchase that aren't like sealed beam per se. They're the same shape, same diameter, same everything, but they're LED. So I mean, you'll always be able to get a headlight for whatever car you're working on.
Gotcha. And LED headlights, man, I am so much in love. I mean, I actually have a set from Holly.
Oh, they're awesome.
Putting on the black car. That's going to be cool. I love LED headlights. I mean, the new Mustang has them from the factory.
It's a world of difference, dude. It's not even close.
Yeah, it's amazing because when I remember LEDs, man, they were the little flashy things, on the outside of video games and like,
yeah, for sure.
And now they're like legitimate lighting solutions.
It's cool. And then now you don't have to have like some crazy ballast and like all this stuff that you would have to have with an HID.
Plug and play.
Yeah, exactly. It's awesome. So then the third story that we did on the van was I took it down to my buddy Four Eyes in Bakersfield. He's a pinstriper. And so in that article, we showed people how we removed like the graphics from the van. It had like these really ugly graphics. And so I used a 3M eraser wheel to like remove it and lots of polishing to try to get the gunk off. And then he came in and pinstriped some really cool like hot rod flames on the van. So suffice to say, it looks totally different. The next couple articles in that series that we have coming are a revamp on the interior when basically I I redid the whole front part of the cabin in like totally 70s style. I got rid of like this ugly. Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. So it had like this really ugly seafoam green kind of like velour material on the front seats and the doors and like a lot of ugly wood trim. It was horrible, dude. The 90s were not a good time for like for vans. But they did come with, cool stuff like AC and, a lot of electronics that they didn't have in the 70s. Anyways, I showed people how we got rid of that. And then I replaced the door panels and dash pad and the seats with all new blacked out, like crushed velvet, alligator, and fur. So if you're into like the cool,
all faux, right?
Yeah, of course.
So PETA, please.
Yes, don't light me up. But I was definitely going for like a 70s era street van look. And so the inside had to be kind of wild and funky and fun. And so, lots of fur, faux alligator, and velour. And then I put in some swiveling seat mounts. So the seats swivel 360 degrees. And then the final series in that, or that final article in that series is going to be on the wheels and tires. I got some Vector wheels from American Racing, which you guys will remember from like the A-Team van, and we put them on there. So
yes,
that's the van.
All right, so the Daily Driver Camaro, the van. We talked about the Firebird because it's getting the 9-inch.
Yep.
And that leaves us the Monty.
Yeah, so the Monty. It's been improving for a little bit, but we're about to publish the first article in the series of the suspension and brake and rear end overhaul that we did over at Classic Performance Parts. So that's really cool. But also, since I've had it back from CPP, I started on the first install portion of like a 3-part series that I'm working on with Original Parts Group. While the car was over at CPP, there were some like parts that we needed, like miscellaneous stuff, like a door latch and some other things. And OPG was like super kind to help us out and like just shot them over like same day because they're pretty close. And so that kind of snowballed into like, hey, this car could use some more love. How about we partner up and showcase some of your guys' products and show people how to do a driver's restoration, right? Like this car was always meant to show the enthusiast that you could have a classic car with a little bit of know-how and some spare time and wrenches. You could have a cool car that's fun to drive on the street and maybe take to the track every once in a while. That you can do for not a lot of money, because there's like this stigma with like old cars that you can't have an old car without dropping a bunch of money. And I think that was propagated by a lot of magazines in the past where they're doing big high dollar bills and average enthusiasts like I can't afford that. So Snake Eyes was always for the everyman. And in that theme, I said, hey, when I was working with the people over at OPGI, I said, hey, how about I do a DIY paint and body story, like real down and dirty, cutting off the rear quarter panels that are all roached out, patching the front fenders, hanging some new panels, showing people you can do this at home. It's not as difficult as you think. And so that's what we got going on. The first article in that series, sorry, I kind of got sidetracked, but the first article in that series was redoing some of the interior. And when we installed the supercharger from TorqueStorm, I had to supplement that with a fuel pump from Holley. It's a fantastic fuel pump, gives us all the flow that we need, but it's very loud, right? And so I had to, and I also relocated the fuel cell fill to the cell panel of the car, which looks really cool, but it goes through the package tray. And so I had to get rid of one of my speakers. And so you got this loud rattling car. You got a really loud fuel pump. And now you only have one speaker. Like, no, dude, I love music. I got to be able to listen to like Metallica and Slayer and, Pantera. You can't, you're not going to have any street cred pulling up to a meet, not playing any music. Come on, man. So OPGI hooked us up with some kick panels with speakers built into them. They sound great. They're Kenwoods. We also did new underlayment on the carpet. We did a new 2-piece carpet kit, and we did a new like asphalt-based sound deadening. And so all those things coupled together make it a lot more driver friendly as far as like having a conversation with somebody or just listening to music.
Yeah, that's actually something I'm probably gonna need to read and pay attention to, because on the black car I have a rear seat delete, and it's just real thin plywood.
Oh yeah.
And the Mach 460 audio has seen better days.
Oh, that one has a 460. Okay.
Yeah, but without the any deadening or anything, because remember it was gonna be a race car back in the day, with a 9-inch right there, and luckily I don't have solid suspension mounts anymore, but it's still relatively loud to drive. Audio is not the greatest. I just can't bring myself to take it to an audio shop and say fix it.
What's wrong? Are they just like blown out or something?
I don't know. I mean, I can't tell really whether it's just this is what the 90s had to offer or if something's wrong with it.
Right.
I don't know, but yeah, I need to do that. And just because 9-inch gears are not the quietest,
right?
And I didn't do the quiet gears because I'm dumb and impatient.
Yeah, the stealth gear. That's what's going into the Firebird. I'm stoked about it.
Yeah, they did not have those when I did mine, and they said, "Do you want to wait?" And I was like, "No, I want to drive my car." Yeah, so I was a
Dude,
little bit.
I just want to take a moment and say how easy it was to swap in that muscle pack from Mosier, dude. It was insane easy, right? So the car already had a 9-inch. But even if it didn't, like the same remains. Like, dude, it was literally it took me about 2 hours because it was kind of tough to like pull. I did it in my garage, so it's kind of tough to pull it out and then slide the new one in. I probably could have got it done a lot quicker if I had a lift or something and a transmission jack. But dude, it bolted up like so easy, and literally like everything's already plumbed, the brakes are already there. All you have to do is like make new brake lines, which some people might think is difficult, but it's actually super easy.
I ran into that when I was finishing up my 9-inch install. I was like, that was for some reason in my head, even though I've made brake lines before, that was the big hurdle. And so I finally worked up the courage and got all my stuff to do it. And 15 minutes later, I'm like, "Are you serious? I'm done." Like, really? Like, that's
Yeah,
what I
dude.
was worried about.
It was so easy. You drop the shackles from the leaf springs. You you unbolt it from the drive shaft. You roll the old one out, roll the new one in, lift it in, bolt it up, bolt the sway bar back on, and that was it. I haven't put the U joint in because, like I said, I had to convert from a 1310, I run from a 1310 to a 1350 style
Yeah.
yoke, but yeah, it was super easy, and I can't wait to have like a 2-wheel peel, dude. That car is too powerful to not have some type of posi, dude,
Yeah.
because 1-wheel peel sucks so bad.
Yeah. No, I trust me, I know. I'm dying to do a burnout in the black car. I just know the transmission's not going to live through it. So
Send it.
I just that trans is making some noises that I don't want to admit are there, and so I'm gonna have to deal with that. But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and you talking about how easy it was to swap out that 9-inch reminds me of I mean, I was an idiot kid in my driveway, and there's no reason it should have been that easy.
Dude, it was dope, and it looks so baller. Like I mean, hot rod guys will know. You climb under a car and you could see a Ford 9-inch, like the classic style, cast housing and everything. Guys will know. You can see the third member or whatever, especially if it's in a car that's not supposed to have it, like a Firebird or a Camaro. But to have like a fabricated housing is like so baller.
Well, I mean, I was so in love with my fabricated housing that I tried to clear coat it without painting it because I just wanted that
Yeah,
real
just the bare
fabricated.
metal.
Yeah, clear coat. Whatever clear coat I used is not a
It's just
sealant.
porous, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
But I mean,
bummer.
it's fine. I sprayed it in hammer tone. It's good to go. It looks great.
There you go.
And I can't. I said I sprayed it. I was working on it at Jamie's dad's house, and I left and came back the next day, and he had sprayed it. So I say I sprayed it. I mean, I had the cans there because I was ready to do it, and he got bored and did it.
Yeah, just had some flash rust.
And he did an amazing job. Like, I came back and I couldn't believe he had done it in such a short amount of time.
That's dope.
That good.
Yeah, man. So that's what I got going on. Oh, the only other project that we have
El Camino
is the El Camino. That's right. Yes. So we have the first piece of the puzzle, and that's a piece from Dakota Digital. I just got that the other day. It's they're part of their, I want to say their HDX or their art. I don't want to misquote because they have an RTX line and they have the HDX line, and they're both like a classic style. But one, I believe I went with the HDX because it's for the El Camino, the Chevelle, and the Malibu that were non-SS, and that's what I could have easily swapped to the SS, which most people do, but I kind of like the fact that it's not like it's more of like a square bar.
Yeah.
The way the speedometer works, whereas you have the SS gauges that are 3 with the analog.
They're way more traditional.
Exactly.
Sweet gauges, yeah.
Which are cool, but I just wanted something a little bit different. So they sent that over, and I can't wait to install. It's gonna be really cool. But that car, dude, it's such a cool car. I love that thing. It's like I was over it's at my mom's house. I was over there, I don't know, about a month ago working on it. And I put the wheels and tires on it, the Anson slot mags with Mickey Thompson's ET Streets out back and Sportsman up front. And it looks so tough, dude. Like it had these like skinny BFGs on it before with like these black steelies. It looked okay. But with those wheels, it just like has a really tough old school muscle car stance.
It has the stance.
Yeah, exactly. And then I threw a fiberglass SS hood that I found on Craigslist on there. Swapped out the intake manifold and the carburetor, got it running a little bit better. Rebuilt part of the front end, and I was gonna get ready to drive it, but when I hooked up the carburetor, I didn't hook up the vacuum line to the back of it because the carter that was on there before, it had a provision for the vacuum line to go into the brake booster. And then when I put it back together, the new Edelbrock one didn't have one. I mean, it had a port, but I didn't have the fitting. So I was like, and it was like the end of the day. I had to come back to Temecula, and I was like, now I don't get to drive it. Although I started it up and I forgot about that, and we almost put it into the fence because I couldn't stop, dude. I was like, oh, where's my brakes? So,
That's awesome.
That project's coming along, and I can't wait, dude. I really, really like. I have a vision in my head for that thing with
big block. Sorry, I've got a cough.
Yes, a big block with lots of nitrous under the hood, and like a bug catcher sticking through the hood. Just totally like late '80s, like muscle street machine. But I don't know if this kind of doesn't fall in line with that big block, but it falls in line with the small block that's in there right now. Because initially I was just going to kind of like update it and give it some like secondhand speed parts. So it's got like an open 12 bolt in there right now, which I didn't know when I bought the car. Otherwise, I would have built that. But I'm building a quote unquote bulletproof 10 bolt, but the smaller of the 10 bolts. It's an 8.2. And so everybody's probably listening to this like, you're an idiot. You just pulled the 9-inch out of your Firebird. You could use that. The car already has a 12 bolt. You could use that.
I do believe I said that to you. I was like, wait, you have a 9-inch sitting there doing.
Well, there's nothing saying that, those can't go in there eventually. But I did, like, I conceptualized this story before I got the El Camino, and I really wanted to do a story on 10, like the smaller 10 bolt, and like building it and seeing how much abuse it could take, right? Like really like putting it through its paces, because the cost of 12 bolts and 9 inches are just ridiculous now. I mean,
going through the roof. I know.
If you can find a 12 bolt, you're going to pay a lot of money for it. Same thing with a 9-inch. And so, most of these classic GM cars came with the 10 bolt, and a lot of them with the smaller 8.2. If you're lucky, you get the 8.5. So I said, let me build this thing. Let me get some custom axles from Strange. They sent them over, 28 spline. And let me get a diff from basically the only company that makes a diff for the 8.2. That's Eaton. Luckily, they make a clutch style posi. And I ordered some Motive gears for it, ring and pinion gears, 411s. And let's build this thing and see if it lives. Let's throw some serious power at it. So I'm kind of like, I really want to put that big block in there and see how
I'm
much.
not gonna lie, I think it will live. I think people underestimate smaller rear ends quite a bit.
Jennifer Lopez,
especially with today's technology.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Today's technology, you can make the parts, you can make them live.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, I don't think I'll snap an axle, dude. They're 28 spline axles, sure, but you got C-clip eliminators, disc brakes on it. So, and then you got an Eaton posi unit with some stout gears. Like, I think it'll be fine, but I really want to throw like a high horsepower engine at it. And see what happens.
If you're gonna break it, it's gonna be with a ton of nitrous at the hit.
Yeah,
like honestly, I mean, because that's just brutal. I mean, that's just all sorts of crazy force right at the hit.
Viewers, listeners, readers, let us know your experience with the smaller GM 10 bolt. What experiences have you had? And that's not even the smallest one. I mean, they have like the 7.5 and smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah, let us know your experiences with 8.2. How much horsepower can it take? A built one. How much horsepower can a built 8.2 take? And is that like an article that you guys will want to see? Will it live? And what kind of power plant should we put into the El Camino? Greg and I have talked about it quite a bit. I originally wanted to go with a 454, but Greg said moderation is for the weak. Let's go big.
I believe I sent you a 632 short block.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you said go big or go home, man. You want a big block, raise the stakes.
I think it would be awesome. I really do.
Me too,
plus,
man.
when was the last time any of our titles did anything with the 632? Like anything that big? I can't remember.
Well, yeah, I mean, there haven't been too many builds that it would go in unless it was like one of James' race cars or something. But
he doesn't do because he's got class rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he's the biggest one he did was his 441 Ford that he just did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've done anything.
Then help me conceptualize it, right? So we go big block nitrous. Then what's the goal? What's the goal for that?
I mean, well, that's the thing. A big block nitrous. I mean, you could do like an NMCA Pro Street build. Like, I mean, at that point, if you wanted to go that crazy, I mean, you're talking 2,000 horsepower. Like the market is there, so you can't say, "Oh, how crazy should we go?" You need to tell me how much horsepower do you want,
and then we'll build that. Like, I want it to be streetable, dude. Like, it's street muscle.
What's streetable? Streetable. That's like asking someone, what the best color is. It's all opinion based.
Listen, I mean, I don't want to be one of these like power tour guys that has like a built race car and then says that it's a street car, and then just goes and dominates every race. Like, that's not cool. I don't think it's cool anyway. Those cars are cool, but like the act of doing that is kind of like cheating to me anyways.
I mean, if you think about it, because I mean, you don't have to with nitrous. That's the cool thing. You don't have to have 1,000 horsepower on tap at all times. You could run a 600-700 horsepower big block and then spray enough nitrous to start the second global warming. That's up to you. I mean,
I would think with a 632, I'd want to make, I don't know, man. It would be cool to make 600 and then spray to, that bigger number. It would be cool to make
600 with a 632.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Think about how ridiculous that is.
I know,
maybe a 632.
That's why my expectations were like way lower, because I was like, dude, I want to do a 454, and you were like, let's go 632, and I was like, that's cool, but that's like race car, dude.
Because I mean, if you think about it, like, it's not crazy to make 1.7 horsepower per cube nowadays.
I know it.
So let me do the math real quick, because those are odd numbers. I can't. So 632 times.
You're making what should be near 800.
No, 632 making 1.7 per cube is 1,074. So
I think that's a lofty goal, though. 1.7 per cube.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's doable. I mean, pretty easily. So let's
but what kind of compression ratio are you going to be running? And then
true. Okay, yeah. Sometimes I forget about the street and the need to run 91 octane gas. So let's even say you made 1.5 times 1.5. That's still 948. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, I'd like to be, near 10 and a half to 1. Can you do that?
On California pump gas?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, as long as you don't get junk gas, maybe.
Well, I only put Chevron, Greg. But
I don't know. But I mean, seriously, it'd be
sick. It'd be really cool. And I would love to do it. just to do it. And you could street a car that makes 1,000 horsepower. You know what I mean? People do it every day.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
So
remember that's without the nitrous.
yeah. So I think that would be like, well, okay. So I think a cool goal would be, you know, and you and I've talked about this before. And you said that I could do it, but it would be with like off-brand parts, and that's I thought it would be cool. 800 horsepower for $8,000, which would be a cool build. Realistic, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're counting the nitrous in that 800 horsepower, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because nitrous kits are not that expensive.
That's true. That's true. I don't know, man. We'll have to put that one back on the drawing table when we're ready.
Yeah.
But
and sometimes you need to remember I need to shut up. Like, because like I'm like 632, let's do it. And
no,
like,
I love your wild ideas, dude. They're great.
Yeah, but I need to be a little more based in reality sometimes.
No, because I have a daily. So that El Camino wouldn't be my daily. It would be
technically you could have 4 dailies.
That's
and
a good point.
El Camino.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a car and a truck. Think of the towing capacity with a 630.
Oh, put an RV cam in it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'll flat tow everything.
That would be awesome to see you flat towing the van.
Oh, just burning out the entire way.
That would be awesome.
Oh man. Hey, speaking of street cars, one more thing that we want to talk about that has been in the news lately.
Yes.
Is all these people making or setting new cross-country records, cannonballing across the United States because traffic has minimized, right?
Well, I think that it started. The record was reset before all that.
Really? Okay. All right. Speak on it.
All right. So the first record that was reset was December 3rd of 2019. And that was that AMG, the E63, that super high tech thing that was built to do it.
Was that one? That one was the one that had like the whole back seat was just a big fuel cell.
No,
right?
no. The back seat was like full of electronics in this one. He had extra fuel cells and stuff, but I mean, he built this thing. This thing was.
What was the electronic? What were the electronics for?
Oh, he had forward-looking infrared. He had like gimbal mounted cameras so that the backseat spotter could look in 360 degrees.
What?
Oh, yeah. No. This thing was built for this.
I love it, dude. That's awesome.
And I mean, it's a gorgeous car. Like, don't get me wrong. All right. Let's see if I can pull this up. How can I do this? Let me share my screen. Chrome.
You know, office chair, man. This thing is uncomfortable.
All right. So this is the one that broke it in December. And to be fair, I don't know if it actually broke this in December or whether
holy
that's when they
hellfire.
reported on it.
Looks like a damn trophy truck.
But well, look at the back seat. That's his spotter. That's his spotter using laser rangefinders.
Oh my god!
Like they had. I mean, this was an expensive. Look at that. Doesn't that not reek of Cannonball 2000 with the Starion? You remember the Mitsubishi Starion with the team from Japan?
Okay, but so what are these guys' backgrounds? What do they do?
I don't know these guys well at all. I think
because you got to have some serious skills and know-how to implement all those tools.
Well, if I remember right, this team, the owner co-founded AMS Motorsports.
Okay.
Which is the big Evo tuner.
Well, so it's one thing to drive, but in order to work like infrared cameras and like all that stuff, I mean, sure you could learn, but I mean, I'd be curious what their background is.
Yeah. So those guys, they were the ones that they broke it. I don't know how.
What was the record?
27 hours and 25 minutes. That was theirs.
Good Lord. What was the average mile per hour?
What is that? I don't. I don't know off the top of my head. But so then the second one, which was the one that was done when Corona first started.
Okay.
That was the one. It was much less built, but it was still a team of people, and they did it in 26 hours and 38 minutes. That one they got it was a 2019 Audi A8. But they got a lot of crap because they did it, during a national emergency, and all of a sudden, all these people who are, basically breaking every speed law and traffic law known to man are the moral compass.
Oh,
And this
God.
it was just like, shut up. He did it. You're just mad you didn't think of it.
Yeah, come on, man. He took advantage of an opportunity. What, are you not going to do it?
Yeah. And so I'm not mad at the guy. That's my opinion, is I'm not mad at the guy. I think that's, innovative and kind of, smart.
Yeah.
But my real hero is the guy who then said, okay, well, I'm just going to go rent a Ford Mustang, throw a bunch of gas tanks in it.
Oh, that's the one I saw.
And do it by myself.
Yeah.
And
did he break the record too?
Oh, he smashed the record. He's all the way down to 25 hours and 55 minutes.
Holy hell. So refueling is like the big detriment.
Well, he only refueled once, I believe. And he didn't use a gas station. He had someone meet him with 150 gallons of gas from the back of a truck.
Wow.
And it took him 8 minutes to refuel.
Whoa.
The only other stop he had, and I want to talk to him about this because I've made the drive where he's talking about, was a 25-minute stop at the agriculture station coming into California.
Why'd they stop him?
Well, if you've ever made that Arizona, you'll make it when we talk. We'll talk about your trip upcoming. But you'll know as soon as you go through it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I've never had to wait 25 minutes there. Even in the worst traffic I've ever been in, it was only like a 15-minute stop. They basically have an agriculture station where they're supposed to stop and be like, "Do you have any fruits?" 95% of the time, I don't even come to a complete stop because they're just waving forward.
They just wave you. I know which one you're talking about.
But he says he had a 25-minute stop for that. Again, we're still in coronavirus. Like, I don't know how the traffic was there. I don't know.
That's a good point. Could be because of that. But it could also be because they saw the fuel cells in the back of his Mustang.
Well, it was, yeah. I mean, I guess you come by and because he didn't hide anything. It's a rental car,
right?
I mean, but still, I mean, to do it by yourself, like no electronics. I mean, maybe he had a couple little handheld things, but by yourself and 25. I mean, he smashed the record.
That takes some serious cojones, man.
Yeah, and his average speed was 108 miles an hour.
Wow.
108 miles an hour average. Now,
I wonder if I can average that on my way out there.
Well, I mean, if you count the police, stops. I'm not saying I've gotten a ticket because I have not. I've been in the vehicle that has been stopped on that run quite a bit. Because it's not that they're really good at hiding. It's that you get into just this highway hypnosis where you just don't see the little details that tell you, there's a CHP officer sitting right there. And that's all they live for right there. I mean, they're not out there to do anything but pop speeders.
Well, I've had my fair share of speeding tickets, and that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah. But it's, I don't know. That Cannonball stuff blows me away.
It's awesome, dude. I'm all for it.
We're getting to the point where I think it's going to start getting more dangerous. Because if I remember right, there has not been a fatality on a Cannonball run. Like, there have been some non-life-threatening injuries, but I don't think there's ever been a fatality on a Cannonball run.
Yeah, I would certainly hope not, man.
But I think because of the times we're getting now, the danger is going to get, just raised exponentially.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to be hauling a lot more ass, across.
Hauling ass, sleeping less, moving faster, taking more risks. I God, I don't want to sound like, like Nancy Naysayer, but I feel like it's getting to a point where it's going to start getting really dangerous.
Well,
If you're
I'll throw
trying
my
to break a record, if you're just doing it for fun, rock on,
I'll do my best to stay alert when I'm headed out there, dude. Especially because it won't be my car.
Yes, let's talk about that. As you
got
chug
it.
your I can't speak. Your Jolt soda. Oh, come on.
LaCroix, dude. Lime flavor.
It's got the color of the old Jolt can.
It does. But yeah, dude. So working with the people over at Dodge FCA, they're gonna let me borrow one of their 2020 fleet vehicles for like press fleet vehicles. I'm stoked, dude. So they give me the choice between a Hellcat Charger wide body or a Scat Pack Challenger wide body, right? And I'm going to be taking it on a trip out to Arizona to not just to see you, but I am going to see you. But we're heading over to Bondurant School of High Performance Driving, and we'll be doing some editorial that's tied up there. Basically, I want to show our readers what it's like if they were to buy like a Demon or a Red Eye. And use the school that's included in that purchase, right? So a lot of people don't know that if you buy one of those cars, you have a year to go to that school and drive and take a driving course. It's like a 1-day course on the drag strip. And I'm not sure if they also offer a similar course for the road course, but Bondurant does. So you have the drag strip and the road course. We're going to go out there and basically cover it. I'm going to do an expose article on both, basically giving our readers a journalistic perspective on what the whole process is like, and taking a trip in a high horsepower car to a racetrack and becoming a race car driver. Can I say that? I'm gonna say it. I don't care.
I'm not gonna lie. You ask me what kind of car I want to take on a road trip. I think the 4-door, kind of.
Well, okay, so I'm leaning that way too, especially because it has a 707 horsepower supercharged engine between the frame rails.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Although I love the body style of the Challenger, dude, especially the Challenger wide body.
You're going to be driving a Challenger at the school.
Yeah, so that's on the drag strip. I don't know what's going to be on the road course. That also influenced my decision. I haven't made my decision yet because they just asked me yesterday which one I'd like to borrow. But I thought, okay, if I borrow the Challenger, then it's going to be anemic compared to what I will be driving on the drag strip. Although it will share similar DNA.
Yeah.
If I borrow the Charger, I think it will be similar to, or I think it'll be similar to what I drive on the road course. I think they use Chargers on the road course. They also use Challengers, but I think they have both. So, but that one, obviously that one has the Hellcat engine. So I'm leaning towards that. Viewers, listeners, readers, let us know which one you would want to borrow and why. Do you like the new Chargers? Do you like the new Challengers? And which one, if you were given a choice? I like them a lot, both. Yeah. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I mean, I think high horsepower 4-door. Let's drive through the desert. Rock on.
Yeah. I kind of have the same feeling. I'm talking it out with you right now, Greg, and that's the way that I'm leaning. But we'll see. I don't know. I might have a change of heart. Also, for some reason, color is a factor. So I don't know which
what
color.
colors are they?
I don't know. That's so like if it's the Charger in the B5 blue that they have, game over. That's the one I'm picking. But if the Scat Pack is in red, I'm definitely picking the Scat Pack. They get me, man.
just think about what's a bigger target flying down Interstate 10.
Well, I obey all speed laws, Greg.
I will say, and I haven't looked into the data too hard to really break it down because I have some theories, but the most ticketed color is
white.
Silver.
Oh, dang. Well, okay, but that's skewed though, because every car on the road in America is silver.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't broken it down to see if that's per, well, there's only 20,000 yellow cars, but there's 4.5 million
Yeah,
silver.
dude, think about how many high impact colors there are on the road versus how many boring, bland, like just bogus cars there are. Every appliance that's out on the road right now, every Kia Optima is silver. I mean,
But you're
how many?
talking to somebody who has only had one non-silver car in his life.
Listen, I've owned white and I've owned black cars too. I mean, those are the colors, right? Those are the standards. For me, there are like really three colors that always look good on any car, no matter what: silver, black, and red. I mean,
Well, I can't say. I mean, I'm as big a proponent for silver as you will ever find. The 94 to 98 Mustang does not look good in silver. I'm sorry, Damon. I know you have a silver SN95. I'm not a fan, and that's why my SN95 is black. Because now some of the darker silvers and darker grays, that looks pretty good. The Opal Frost, I think it was called. I think that was the actual color name.
Ooh, so European.
It doesn't work with those curves. I don't. That's just my opinion, and that's coming from someone who will probably have a silver car for the rest of his life, at least one for the rest of his life.
Wait, what about the Mustang? The new Mustang you had?
Silver, yeah.
I forgot you ended up with the silver one. You didn't get the orange.
God, no. Oh,
I'm bummed out about that.
If it was a year later, I like that orange. But it wasn't Twister Orange. It was I blocked it out of my mind. I don't even remember the name of it. But it was the real light, like pumpkin metallic.
Vitamin C.
Yeah, it just wasn't. It was almost school bus yellow in certain lights. I just couldn't do it. Man, I walked up to it. I walked around it, just shaking my head, and the guy comes out to talk to me, and I'm like, "Don't even talk to me. Nope, I'm not. No."
So the Firebird is like a gunmetal color, which I love. Which is another color that just looks fantastic on everything. Yeah. The Camaro is black. The Monte Carlo is primer-ish, like
it's matte black.
Yeah, it's matte black. Well, that's the color it's going to end up being. I wouldn't dare change the color motif of that car. That car belongs black. And then the El Camino is one that I haven't landed on yet. It's green. It's an original green on green car. Now it has like a primer black hood, which kind of looks tough. But I really don't know. I thought about going black with white stripes, gloss black with white stripes. But that's
that's a classic combo,
on the nose. But a color that I really love on GM A bodies is gold with black stripes. And so that might be a way that I lean. So I don't know. Let me know in the comment section, guys. What color is your favorite on a 71 El Camino?
Would it be too much to ask for to do like a movie car replica?
Which car?
I don't know. Maybe just start looking. Like right off the top of my head, I think about that 70s show and Hyde's blue El Camino.
He had a black one. It was black with white stripes. It was black. It was a black SS. It was an LS6 car.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like that dark blue. No?
Mm-mm. The blue that I would do from GM in that era is more like, it's called Mulsanne blue. And a buddy of mine, Chris, he's a marketing manager over at American Racing Wheels. He has the sickest 71 El Camino. It's Mulsanne blue with black stripes, and it's gorgeous, dude. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
But anyways,
blues are good. I do like blues.
Greg, we've been talking for like an hour and a half, bro.
I know.
Let's knock out a wrap up and let people go back to eating their lunch or doing whatever.
Yeah, either people are gonna love the show or hate it. Like
you guys didn't talk about anything. What? We're never giving you freedom again.
This was the Seinfeld episode.
All right.
Still a great show.
Well, basically, this was an episode where we just gave everyone an update on what we're working on currently for the magazine and personally. We talked about some current events that are going on the automotive arena. And we talked about some future plans that we have for editorial. So I think this was a good episode 24, 25, 24.
20.
So, and if you guys didn't like it, well, too bad. It was free.
I'm leaving that in. I'm not editing that out. But yeah, I mean, it was good. Oh, hey, if we got to wrap up, we can't just shut down. What do you got coming up?
Okay, so check it out. It's live right now. You guys go check it out. It's an article from Jeff Smith. It's fantastic. It's about shock tuning for his 66 Chevelle. Basically, he took it to the drag strip, and with the same setup, but just making minor adjustments to the shock valving and rebound, he was able to achieve better ETs. That is until he.
I was going to ask, was this a trip where bad things happened? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know is that in the article? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, he included it, and there's some photos of the carnage. So definitely, you guys go check it out. But that's the most exciting story that we have going up this week. Obviously, we've got some stuff coming up next week, but you guys will just have to stay tuned and find out what that is. Greg, what about you, man?
Well, I've got two things. One, it's the Canton AccuSump, and I know people are going to be like, "Oh, that's just a boring oil accumulator." Man, it's cool. Like, and then we also talked a little bit about their turbo oiler. That's just cheap insurance. Like, it's something that I think you have to really be a nerd to appreciate. But yeah, that was a really cool one to write, because we just talked about it, and half the time, I was talking to Ian, it was me asking stupid questions like, well, could you do this? And could you do this? And I'm going, well, yeah, I guess you could. Like, we don't recommend it, but you could do that.
That, my friend, is the catalyst for innovation. I like it.
Yeah. And then the other one that I think people are just going to get a kick out of is the Arius Hemi V6.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Tell us about that.
It was a video that popped up last weekend at some old gasser show, right? Vintage gassers. And this guy has an Arius Hemi V6 on a run stand. And he starts talking about
something that he custom made or he found? Or?
Well, apparently the story is that Nick Arias had 6 V6 blocks cast. He basically took, one of his 8-cylinder blocks, cut 2 off, had it cast, had 6 of them cast. And of course, whenever you see anything goofy like that, what's it for? Land speed racing, right? Because there's 8 million records to be had. And when people start chasing records, they do weird stuff.
Right.
But so, I mean, this thing is like a nasty little, it's 400 and some odd cubic inches. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's a 4.5 bore by 4.5 stroke V6. This V6 has a 1071 blower on it. I mean, right. It is a V6. I mean, it's not supposed to make these noises.
Yeah, exactly.
And the funny thing is, okay, so there's 6 in the world. They only know of 2 of them in existence. Like the other 4 are probably like buried in somebody's shop.
What kind of power does that thing make?
No idea. I don't think it'll ever see a dyno. Honestly, I don't know.
Let's change that.
But the cool thing is, at this show, the only 2 known to be in existence were both there.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
One was on a run stand, one was in a Willys. But
oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, so but it's really cool. And just looking at the thing.
Were they both supercharged?
They didn't really show much about the other one because it was some other guy. Like, they had nothing to do with each other. Like, these just happened to be there. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I think it was supercharged. I don't think it was anywhere near as extreme as the one that was on the run stand. But man, like, you look at it and you're just like, where are the other 2 cylinders? Like, it doesn't make sense. You have to really look at it.
So is that story live right now?
Yeah, it'll be live when we're recording, it'll be live.
Cool.
Yes. But
all right, everybody. So go check that one out. I'm sorry, what were you saying, Greg?
I was just saying that it's one of those things that just makes you shake your head. Because again, you can't even imagine how much money's into that. And it's all just going after a specific record on a dry lake bed.
There you have it, everybody. If you're into like oddball stuff, weird engine building quirks, rarities, check out enginelabs.com. Of course, check out streetmusclemag.com. Check out all the websites on powerautomedia.com, and come back here every Friday at noon Pacific time. We'll be here waiting. Peace.